Welcome back to Get Up. New York Times has reported a disturbing story about the Washington Redskins cheerleading team. Several former cheerleaders for the team have detailed a 2013 week-long trip to Costa Rica where they were required to pose topless for a photo shoot while spectators invited by the team looked on. Now, some of the cheerleaders were then required to attend a nightclub event as escorts for some of the team's male sponsors, according to the Times. The cheerleaders said there was no sex involved, but they felt the team was, quote, pimping us out. The team has responded with the following statement. Each Redskin cheerleader is contractually protected to ensure a safe and constructive environment. The work our cheerleaders do in our community, visiting our troops abroad, and supporting our team on the field is something the Redskins organization and our fans take great pride in. Now, there will be people today who will argue or say, well, why do we still have cheerleading and why this and that? That is not where the focus should be on this story. I think a lot of women, and I think where we are in this current climate right now is that we're sick and tired of that being the ultimate response to a story like this. The story to this is women should be allowed to do the things they love to do, and if cheerleading is one of those passions you have, do it. What they don't need to endure is the behavior and the entitlement of certain men who have decided that these women are objects deemed for their entertainment, and that's all. I don't need women to change what they're doing. I need men to change what they're doing. And this story just runs the gamut of everything that it could possibly go wrong as far as this type of situation.
You have to read it in its entirety to get a full sense of it. That was a good snapshot of it that you presented. But, I mean, it's horrifying when you read all the details. Now, in the interest of fairness, not only did the team release that statement, but I don't know how to process the comments from the woman who was employed by the team running the cheerleading, Stephanie Jojokian. I hope we're pronouncing her name correctly. But she, in response to the interview, seems horrified that the women involved felt this way and that she herself did not feel this was in any way the way this was presented. But when you couple this with a recent story about the way the New Orleans Saints cheerleaders are handled by the team and where they have to walk out of a restaurant if a player walks into a restaurant, there have been just too many of these kinds of stories surrounding the National Football League and cheerleaders that someone needs to do a very close look at the way this circumstance is being handled, the way this profession is being handled, and the way the National Football League handles their cheerleaders.
Well, we're a society that chooses profit over decency. And unfortunately, a part of the reason why cheerleaders are involved in sports is because sex sells in America.
Right.
And they're being objectified in a lot of different shapes, forms, and fashions in a lot of different industries. We're highlighting it right now because we're talking about the Washington football team cheerleaders. There's a reason why Red Auerbach never wanted cheerleaders, and the Boston Celtics franchise never had them until he passed away. He felt like that would distract from the game of basketball. And it has gone now from watching the sport to entertainment, which has taken it from being cheerleaders to dancers. So we see it in boxing with the ring girls. We see it in sports a lot of times with the cheerleaders.
It makes sense. But this is why I'm torn. I was never a cheerleader. I don't understand the purpose of cheerleading. But it's not for me to take away from women who do enjoy it and want to do that in their lives. So then we come to the situation is, why is it that we're constantly, when something like this happens, we automatically go, well, cheerleaders are supposed to do this. That's not what the problem is. There is a fundamental lack of education starting at a young age for boys in this country about how you are supposed to treat girls that grow up to be women. And it starts young. I don't know how to fix it. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend I'm a parent. All I know is that it starts young, and it's not just an NFL problem. It's a societal problem. It doesn't just mean cheerleaders. It means women in the office, women that serve you your food. There's a way that some men have been taught it is okay to look at and treat women that has continued to go on. You can take away cheerleading. You can keep taking away whatever you want to take away. That doesn't change the way these men are behaving. That's what has to stop.
Yeah, it's also important to point out, I don't disagree with the word you said, it's also to point out there's another reason not to get rid of cheerleading, which is that there's a lot of women who wind up getting college scholarships and all sorts of other things as a result of that. Cheerleading is a very different thing on the high school and college level than it is when you get into the professional level, and these are adults that are doing it. So there are any number of reasons why I agree with everything you said, and that the notion that we should look at this problem and say, let's get rid of cheerleading.
Let's get rid of men.
That's laughable.
We have a whole bunch of problems
exactly
here. Let's get rid of cheerleading. That would be exactly the wrong way to look at this. I agree with you.